This is part 4 of the Free Press article that dropped today called "We Gave Our Students Laptops and Took Away Their Brains." In his new book, The Digital Delusion, Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath talks about why students aren't retaining information and what can be done about it. In parts 1 through 3, I talked about my experience with decades in the classroom, what the science is actually showing, and what we are seeing internationally. So, what are his suggestions to improve this situation, and what are other countries already doing? First is to read things in print. He says if families have the means to do it, get a printer so that even if something comes through digitally, the student can print it out. This is a philosophy I've had in my class my entire teaching career. Even when we had the ability to read things on the laptop, I always printed them out, I always photocopied them, and had my students use highlighters and pens to annotate as they were reading for specific things. I think that when students are engaging physically with the text, the retention is better. That was just something I did my whole career. This is kind of saying the same thing. The second is to opt out of tech ed. And that would be something that the parents would do with the school and say, I want my child to do the readings physically, the writings physically, any kind of analysis or examination done physically with paper and pen. The third is to demand evidence. When a school will say, we have this new digital learning program, he is telling parents to advocate for their children and say, does this have independent research that has been replicated to show that it actually improves student learning? Next, is there any internal data? Has this program been used on a smaller scale within the school or in the district? And what data do they have on its success? And last, if there is no meaningful data from the school or from an independent study, ask these 3 questions. What specific problem does this tool solve? How will it improve learning and not just logistics? And why is this the best available solution? And as far as outside the US, China is already limiting their student screen time while increasing their physical activity time. Singapore and Thailand have national phone bans during the school day. And Sweden is shifting away from heavy digital learning back to paper and pen. And they are also talking about legislation to ban all devices for lower grades. So teachers, parents, administrators, have you seen the same shift in your students that I saw in mine? And what do you think of the proposed changes to lessen or remove the screen time that our students have, even when it's for academic purposes?